Jamal Hill vacates the title due to injury. Jiri Prochazka vacated the title. And just to pull it up right here, Daniel Cormier vacated the title. So this title's been vacated, so many damn times. It's so bastardized. But I just want to say this about the light heavyweight division. The fact that Glover Teixeira had a piece of this belt at this stage of his career is telling. Glover Teixeira was a killer, a marauder, who nobody wanted to fight when he came into the UFC. He had some visa issues, but he finally got in and he did his thing all the way up. He took out Rampage Jackson. He destroyed Ryan Bader in his prime. Like he did great things with his hands. Had Mike Tyson was cage side. He was a fan. Glover Teixeira was boxing boys up, and he was great on the ground. I mean, you guys see what he's doing now and at a very, very old age. Well, John Jones destroyed that version of Glover Teixeira. Destroyed him. Wasn't even close. Disgusting. And Glover Teixeira today is taking former champion Jamal Hill, former champion Jiri Prochazka, defeating Jan Blachowicz, taking them all to the brink at this stage of his career. Mind you, Glover Teixeira got dog-walked by Corey Anderson. Jan Blachowicz, yes, he knocked out Corey Anderson, but he got dog-walked when they fought the first time too. Jiri Prochazka got defeated by an older age King Mo Lawal. And Jamal Hill, much respect to him, but didn't Paul Craig take his arm? Was it Paul Craig? No, I don't think it was Paul Craig. I think it was the Joker, Jack Hermanson. One of those two. Didn't they take his arm? My point is that he was a paper champ anyways. Like, John Jones would have destroyed all of these guys. Look what Glover Teixeira is doing as an old man. Yes, he's retired right now, but this shit is telling. Who's the best fighter in the division? I'm just going to say it. I'm going to jump out there and say Ankalaev. But the scheduled matchup between Poatan coming into the division from 185 and Jan Blachowicz is the vacant title fight. Great. Put the winner in there with Ankalaev, and we'll see if I was right or wrong, because I'm confident I was right. That being said, like I said, putting a button on this, farewell to Kevin Lee, who did retire from the sport after suffering defeat in his UFC return. He didn't get to show much, and it's sad to see him go out this way. But big ups to Kevin Lee, who did have the gift of gab, and at one point was a great prospect. I think his last, I know he flashed back against what's his name? I can't even remember buddy's name. He had a crazy knockout against Gregor Gillespie, separated him from consciousness, head kick, disgusting, highlight reel, knockout of the year candidate. But, I think his last hoorah was against Tony Ferguson back in the day for the interim title, and he took, I think, a couple rounds from Tony before ultimately getting submitted on top. I think Tony was off his back submitting him. I haven't seen that fight in a while, so that might not. I might be getting it slightly wrong, but I know for a fact he was submitted. So farewell to one Kevin Lee. I hope you do great things outside of fighting. What? Let me rephrase that. Whoa. What a matter of a week can make. One Conor McGregor is rendered on his knees with his face in palm after his team on The Ultimate Fighter suffers the 7th straight loss to Team Chandler. Well, what a difference a week makes. Not only does Team Conor McGregor finally get on the board, but Conor McGregor explodes with excitement, takes the victory lap around the cage, you know what I mean? Really soaking it in, really drinking it in, you know what I mean? Act like you've been there before, McGregor. I know that it doesn't feel good coming off of 2 straight losses to one Dustin Poirier, and then signing up to the Ultimate Fighter and losing 7 fucking fights straight. I know you're not the one in there fighting on the Ultimate Fighter, but losing is becoming too fucking familiar. So I'm sure the look of excitement on your face for this one is warranted. It's definitely warranted because you haven't tasted victory in quite some time. We'll see if you fight one Michael Chandler, who's tweeting Christmas trees which would indicate that they're fighting in December. We'll see if that materializes. On to the next hype train. That hype train being one Khamzat Chimaev, whom hasn't been seen or heard of since missing weight against Nate Diaz, whom Nate Diaz claims, oh, I already beat that guy because he punked out and missed weight. That's the Nate Diaz, way of thinking. Hey, he missed weight. He pulled out. I punked him at some fucking public event. I beat him already. Well, Khamzat Chimaev pulled out of the Nate Diaz fight because he didn't make weight. They said, oh, I almost died, but still fought the next night and took apart Kevin Holland. You do the math. Did he almost die? Did he try to make weight? Was he really threatened health-wise? He fought the next night and destroyed Kevin Holland. Destroyed him. That being said, he's being touted to come back against one Robert Whittaker. I'm going to believe it when I see both contracts signed. Sorry, not Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa. Great fight on paper. Paulo Costa versus Khamzat Chimaev. And like I said, Paulo Costa saying he signed. I will believe it when I see Khamzat have signed. Better yet, I'll believe it when I see an embedded or a press conference, something that says that this thing is really on the books. Because for the longest, I was thinking Khamzat was going to come back against Kamaru Usman. Moving along, hot prospect, and I say prospect because he is now a free agent and rumored to be signing with the UFC. Yes, the UFC, Michael Venom Page. Yes, the brilliant striker who has been a Bellator mainstay and has done some pretty tremendous things, and he's had some great celebrations too, cracking skulls, cashing checks, and doing it in style. That being said, if he does come over to the UFC, the potential divisions that he would be fighting in being 185, maybe even 205 if he wants to get up there, or maybe he fights at 170. Either way, the divisions are full of wrestlers, so hopefully him at a relatively older age, still got a lot left in the tank, but hopefully him at a relatively older age could stay off of the canvas and show the UFC, if he does indeed potentially fight there, just how brilliant of a striker he really is. MVP, Michael Venom Page.